So with Star Wars Galaxy Edge opening up this year, Marvel Land opening up next year, what's the next place to get refurbished/renovated? In this week's episode of Conquering Theme Parks, we're going to talk about the future of Tomorrowland. So let's conquer the future of Tomorrowland. What's up, weirdos? So before we talk about the future of Tomorrowland, let's talk about the past of Tomorrowland, which I mean the last time it was renovated. So let's jump into the only themed land at Disneyland that doesn't really know what it wants to be. So around 1995 to 1998 was supposed to be a big overhaul of Tomorrowland, which was supposed to make it more timeless by making it more of a sci-fi space land, which would make sense because Tomorrowland has really had the problem with staying in the tomorrow, because once you make it tomorrow, it becomes the past, and the time's always changing, and it's hard to keep up with that. With the closing down of the People Mover for the rocket rods, and then taking the rocket jets from the middle of Tomorrowland and moved it up to the front and called it the Astro Orbiter. Mission to Mars ended up closing down to make way for a alien encounter called the Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. See, the problem with this renovation was that they didn't have enough money in the budget, which the Extraterrestrial ended up becoming the pizza port. Rocket Rods ended up closing 2 years after it was open because the People Mover tracks was not holding up to what they wanted the Rocket Rods to do. And it was just a big mess. And we still see the repercussions from this expansion. During that time, they tried to paint everything bronze, making it more of a steampunk look. It didn't work out. As you can tell, most of the bronze is gone now, and it's more blue, white, and gray. So you can tell that Tomorrowland really doesn't know what it wants to be. And that's why I think it might be the next expansion that's been long overdue. What would I like to see in Tomorrowland, in the new Tomorrowland? So let's start up front. I know this is a long shot, but I really think that the Astro Orbiter should move back into the middle of the land because it's created a really big bottleneck in that area. And if you ever walk into Tomorrowland that way, you could tell that there's not much space to move around. And with Project Stardust, it would make more sense for them to widen that area up a little bit. Now for the People Mover tracks, I've read all over the internet that it's pretty much impossible for taking out those tracks without destroying everything else in the land. Take out Buzz Lightyear for sure, because just take out, I don't think Disneyland should have Pixar-themed rides if they have a Pixar Pier at California Adventures. It just doesn't make sense. Redo it to a more of a space-themed, like how they used to have Adventures Through Inner Space. Maybe something like that. Omni-Mover ride that takes you through space. As for Star Tours, I don't think they have any plan of taking that out anytime soon. Just so Galaxy's Edge, and if you want to see more Star Wars, you can go to Tomorrowland for a lot less wait. Space Mountain is safe. Now the Innoventions building. Now let's talk about that. It's a big eyesore. It opened up with a attraction called Carousel of Progress, which you can actually see at Disney World because it was they actually picked it up and moved it to Disney World. And then after that, they opened it up as America Sings, which did not fit in with Tomorrowland, which then ended up becoming Innoventions, which was like a House of Tomorrow, which they used to have in Disneyland, which ended up becoming really outdated right away. It destroyed that Innoventions building, and maybe, I'm just throwing this in the air, a Tron roller coaster. I know they have one in Shanghai. Now for Autotopia, this one's a big one, a tough one, because Autotopia is one of the original rides of Disneyland, and for it to be there, it just takes up a lot of space, and it doesn't really capture the future. Maybe if they made him more of electric cars, then maybe they can capture it with like a Tesla sponsor to it maybe. And then Submarine Voyage, the Finding Nemo ride, it does not fit in. I don't know what they were thinking, unless they were trying to make it more of the Fantasyland, but it's still considered a Tomorrowland attraction. Well, if they're going to try to keep the lagoon, why don't they do something like Discovery Land, where they have like trackless motorboats that go around the water? That would be actually pretty cool. And then Pizza Port, which I know they're currently renovating it for a Pizza Planet, which is kind of weird if they're thinking about redoing the whole land anyways. Space Mountain and Star Tours. I think those two rides are the safest right now out of everything. I think everything should be demolished and just start it all over. More of a timeless kind of future. Maybe do something like Discovery Land. That it's like a future that's not our future. It's like a fantasy future, which would make more sense because then you don't have to keep up with the current times of technology. That's all I have to say about Tomorrowland, the future of Tomorrowland. What would I like to see? Comment down below what they should add to Tomorrowland. But I hope you guys liked it. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button for more adventures. Also check out the links at the end of my video for more of me, more of my adventures, and where to find me on the social media, guys. Peace out, weirdos.